have heard it all before. Washington just doesn't get it. Well, a recent Fox News Opinion Dynamics poll shows 62% of registered voters do not think most members of Congress deserve to be reelected. But are they really ready to vote their own congressman or woman out this November? Keith Larson, host of The Keith Larson Show on NewsTalk 1110 in Charlotte. He asked his listeners about that this week. He joins us now. All right, Keith, welcome. Great to see you again on this Sunday.
Hey, Shannon. Good to see you.
All right, we want to play a little bit of a call that you had with somebody in your listening audience. When it came down to this, you may be mad at your incumbent, but are you really going to vote him out? This is Don.
There is a lot of discontent out here like never I've seen in my lifetime, and I'm over 60 years old.
Okay, and you live in what, you vote in what district?
Oh, the 9th, Sue Myrick.
Oh, so you're going to vote against Sue Myrick?
Now, that's a tough question for me.
Sue Myrick voted for the prescription drug bill. Sue Myrick voted for the TARP program. Sue Myrick is a huge earmarker.
Yeah. Now, I'm still debating that, Keith.
Keith, still debating. Don sounded pretty conflicted. How did your other callers feel?
Well, I'll tell you, a lot of people are just like Don, and I appreciate his honesty and his candor. You know, the reality is people hate Congress. They want to throw all the bums out, but when it gets right down to it, they don't tend to think their own person is a bad guy that they want thrown out. I mean, this is why you see so many, 3/4 or 80% of incumbents who seek re-election are almost always re-elected. So there'll be big change in Washington come this November. I have no doubt about that. But the question is, with all the anti-incumbent sentiment out there, are they really going to throw their own bums out?
Well, it's interesting because I know you and I talked this week about John McCain, incumbent senator. He had a challenge from J.D. Hayworth out in Arizona, pretty much skated by in that race, but he is an incumbent. He's a very powerful Beltway Washington insider. That seems to be a prime example of people not willing to pull the trigger.
Well, it is, and you know, you're referred to surveys, and all people say that they're willing to throw their own incumbent out. But you know, in my advertising and marketing genius days, between my stints in radio, I learned that people will tell you in surveys or in focus groups or in conference rooms things that are a little bit about how they want to see themselves and not necessarily what they actually will do. I mean, you sit in a conference room and people tell you that they want healthier fast food choices. But then they go in the restaurant and they order a Mondo burger and a mega fry and a vat of Coke.
All right. You are speaking of my own personal dietary choices. I will not go there. Let's talk about your good buddy, a man who is hoping to end up in the U.S. Senate, Alvin Greene. This last week, he's always in the news. This last week, somebody with his party, he was at a restaurant. There was a Democratic event underway. They got into a fight. He was asked to leave the restaurant. What's the latest with Alvin down there in the Carolinas?
Well, I'll tell you, yeah, that was this past week with Alvin, and tomorrow it's full Monty with Alvin Greene in our studio. You know, I've talked with Alvin, our official Summer Distraction 2010, probably 10 or 12 times this summer. We've talked about everything under the sun pertaining to this campaign. Tomorrow, he's coming up into the radio studio live. We're going to have a live video stream. Anybody can watch at 10 o'clock Eastern at WBT.com. And we're just going to talk about it all, truly A to Z, and we'll see what happens. As you know, Shannon, you've listened to those conversations. You never know how it's going to go with Alvin, but he does say he'll do a little dance to the Alvin Greene on the Scene rap tune.
I mean, that's the best tease for the live video stream of anything. I know that you're sending a limo for him, but it sounded like he maybe had, you know, some rock star demands. Did he ask for the green M&Ms? You know?
I don't know about the green M&Ms. Yeah, he was. I had been kidding him for a couple of months. Hey, we'll send a limo if you come up for the interview, and he always said no. But then one day he said yeah. So now we're stuck sending the limo, and then he wanted to make sure that it was a stretch or a Hummer. So.
All right, Keith, we cannot wait to talk to you next week about how that big visit goes tomorrow. Thank you always for updating us from the Carolinas.
Sure. Thanks, Shannon.
Thanks, Keith. Well, the president has arrived in New Orleans. We are waiting for his important speech there. We're going to bring it to you, the very latest on this 5th anniversary of Katrina. Next.